My name is Oba Moses. Why is there Godfather in politics?
Okay, my name is Matthew. What is the kind of democracy do we live in? What are the factors that affect free and fair election, and what makes it fair?
Welcome back. A lot of questions from the audience, so please provide answers to them.
Yeah, the first speaker asked a question which goes thus: why do we have godfatherism in politics? Yes, let me start by telling you or everybody that politics is an institution of learning. There is no way you not have godfatherism, because somebody must tutor you, must put you, on the limelight, at least for you to learn from the person. And it's an organization. Definitely we need somebody that will tutor, that will guide, that will put somebody through. But like I said earlier on the issue of threats, we can gradually eliminate godfatherism through the will of the people, because godfatherism is a serious problem in politics.
And they impose their choice.
They will impose the person, and the person must deliver back to them. I remember when a governor in Oyo State contested, I think one late Adedibu, he said something and that thing really baffled me. When the man contested and he won the election, the man said, and I quote, that the governor supposed to give him at least 20% of the allocation awarded to the state. The issue of godfatherism is a problem which we must, discard. We should not allow it to continue in politics. And how do we do that? We can do it through our own will, by voting those people out of politics. So that is the way, and if we can do that, definitely the problem will be solved. Another question is which type of democracy are we practicing? I would say it's a democratic democracy. We have two types of democracy: direct and representative. And the one we are practicing, I call it democratic because it's not dictatorship or oligarchy, whereby a small segment controls the affair of the country or the state. It is democratic. It's because we have not gotten it right. That is why we're having this problem of maybe our votes not being counted, or we're having issue of a thuggery or whatever. So it's a democratic. It has come to stay. Democracy is government of the people, by the people and for the people. We have the way. We are the ruler. They are our servants. They are representing us. And our interests should be, respected. And if they don't want to respect our interests, though this last concluded election, like I said earlier, really, touched many people's mind.
Yes,
people were not happy with what happened, how the whole thing went. But notwithstanding, we should not be discouraged. In the next 4 years, another election will still come up. So let us not relent. Let us not japa. We should vote them out if they fail to fulfill their promises. On the other question, factors affecting a free and fair election. Looking at the factors, we have said it. To have free and fair election, I will go back to our memory lane. The election we had in 1993, I wouldn't know whether many of you voted during that period. 1993 was the fairest
some of them were not
and what I call credible election. When late Moshood Abiola contested, I was in university that time. It was free. I think we had two-party system that time. Then. SDP and that was the time Babangida was the head of state. Babangida took over from Buhari in 1983. Not even took over. Through a coup d'etat, he became the head of state in 1985.
So that was military rule.
That was the military. So when he became the head of state, I think he was able to rule us through military dictatorship you know, for almost 9 years.
Yeah.
Before we now did the election. And when we did that election, MK Abiola won massively.
So very clear.
Was clear in the north, in the south,
Everywhere.
and everywhere. Nothing like tribalism, nothing like ethnic problem. Instead of giving the power to the man, a lot of things came up, inaugurated a transition program, annulled the election, and gave power to Ernest Shonekan, the man of blessed memory, became the president, and he stayed there for just 100 days or less than 100 days.
Interim president.
You know, interim government. And after that, this man called late Abacha, the head of state, took over.
Same military.
The same military. You know, we need to trace it back. And when that one took over, he was the head of state. At the end of the day, in 1998, he died. That's when Abubakar came up. Abubakar became the head of state again. And our former president, Obasanjo, was in prison that time. So later, General Abubakar handed over to you know, through election of 1999. But looking at the factors affecting the free and fair election, definitely one is intimidation. Intimidation is a serious problem, which all of us saw in this last concluded election. Suppression, whereby people were not allowed. In fact, this last governorship election, I heard it that even they went to the ballot post using cane to chase people away.
Not here. It was with video. It was.
They used whip to chase people away. That if you don't vote for APC in Lagos State, if you don't vote for APC, you should go back to your various houses. It shouldn't be intimidation. It shouldn't be.
And then
that's
you're happy that you win.
One of the factors that, you know, affecting free and fair election. They didn't allow people to, you know, discharge their civic responsibility. Another one, we have said it, corruption, inducement, giving people money.
Vote
okay, vote for this. How much are they giving? 1,000 naira.
Vote buying.
Or
for
just
4 years.
a scratch card of 200 naira for 4 years. Divide it. So, you know, we will get there. I hope and I still believe that we are going to get there.
That's also my
It's a gradual process. So another point is what we have just said about godfatherism. Because you must deliver back to your father.
That sponsored you.
I remember when Governor Ambode won the election and he wanted to recontest for the second term. Our present elected president said,
no way.
No Baba Sokwe.
No way.
Meaning no godfatherism. Are we practicing that now? When we say no Baba Sokwe, meaning no issue or no comment that a father has said this. So, but we are still displaying that, which is affecting a free and fair democratic process. So, if we can eliminate all these factors, definitely we are going to get there, and our democratic process will get proper shape that we are clamoring for. Lack of trust also is also another factor which also affects what we call free and fair election. On the issue of what makes democracy fair, I think it's interwoven. What makes it fair? What makes it fair is that you vote for the right person. I've told you democracy is government of the people, by the people. And the word democracy is from two Greek words, which I've said. Demos, people. People, we have the power, the will to vote the right person. Election should be free and fair through proper involvement, participation. When we are, you know, the idea of maybe, okay, our vote will not be counted, we should ignore that. Once we can ignore the idea that, okay, one day, thank God they have introduced beavers now by mother. And they said, because that governorship election is supposed to have been held on the 11th. They now postponed it till 18th. That they want to reconfigure and do a kind of, I call it manipulation. But notwithstanding, we are going to get there. Because at least when we voted 2019, it wasn't perfect. Beavers this year also failed us. I hope by the time we are voting the next 4 years, definitely we'll get it right. Let us not be discouraged.